All right, folks, welcome to the Al Boyd Show here on a beautiful day in Shawano country. I've got two beautiful guests. I should say one beautiful guest, Pinkie Peterson and Norden, a very handsome young man. And they're from the Redneck Bass Busters. Here in Shawano country, we're always paying honor to the people who do something. And we got a couple of hard workers. In the Marine Corps, we call them grunts, the guys doing the hard work. And they're members of the Shawano Redneck Bass Busters, doing so many good things for the community, so many good things for our people in town. You know, like the veterans, always doing something. Which brings me to my dedication. My dedication today, U.S. Army Sergeant Adam Burke in Iraq, shot and wounded a couple of times in firefights, pulled a buddy of his out of the fire, got wounded doing it, came back from Vietnam, or Iraq and Afghanistan where he was. PTSD, paramount in his life, led to all kinds of trouble. Ended up going back to the farm, and he got some land from his folks, and he started a veterans farm. Veterans for Harm. He couldn't move. He was wounded severely. All of a sudden, he finds out he's got movement in his arms, and he figured out that working with the land, he'd get back to helping veterans. So he starts a Veterans for Farming, and he's done well with that. That's who we dedicate our show to. My song's going to be because of the Redneck Bass Busters, Brad Paisley's classic, I'm Going to Miss Her, you know. And one of the things about Brad Paisley's song is a beautiful girl being left alone. Our guest today, Pinkie Peterson, and she's a beautiful young lady. But Pinkie, it's just got to be amazing for me to see that you guys are out there doing all the things you're doing for the community.
Yeah.
And you guys have been around for 12 years now.
Yes.
And had a number of events going, and it's something for. They say if you want to feed a person, teach them how to fish.
Teach how to fish. Yes.
You know, and a guy like me who goes to the supermarket to buy my fish, you know, it's totally different, of course. But
we don't eat what we catch.
Nowadays, that is so.
No, that's a no.
Yeah, you know, and one of the things though that you guys are doing, you're organized and you're doing so many good things for the community.
Yes.
And I know, you know, the support I get from you guys for helping taking kids to Florida for the Doyle baseball camp, I appreciate very much. But this other event you got going for helping kids with cancer.
Yes, that's
The Heal program.
I'll let you check that out. It's Heal for the Heart, and it's for kids with cancer, and our president would know more about that. You can there's a link for it on our website.
Yeah.
If you go to the community center page on our website, you'll find all the information about it.
Okay, on the website now, how do you get to your website?
It's www.redneck bassbusters.org.
.org. Okay, and then also on there, you guys are on Facebook.
We have a Facebook page, so there is a connect. All you got to do is hit the F on it, and it'll take you right to our Facebook page, which has a lot of pictures on it of the things we do. All of the events we have, I take a lot of photos, and I post them immediately right on there.
Boy, you know, that's so wonderful. You know, then just recently having taken courses in computers and finding out all the things you can do, it's just fabulous the things you can do. You know, and you guys, you know, like I say, the events you run, and by the time you get home, there's pictures of the events on the Facebook already.
I can even instantly upload them right from where we are.
Right from where you are.
Yep.
Is that right? You know, boy, that's wonderful. You know, and the things that I see you guys doing, your fishing tournament, your annual fishing tournament, and fishing leagues. You know, and as I told you guys before, never having caught a fish or shot a deer, you know, it's a guy who's enjoyed playing time in the gym in this winter time and in baseball in the summertime, of course. But there's something about fishing that really is universal.
This is my first year as a member, but my boyfriend got me into it last year. Because I was always, you know, helping out with this and helping out with that, and I'm like, well, I want to fish all the time too.
Yeah.
So I became a member.
This is also my first year in the club, and for me, I just wanted to go and try something different rather than going fishing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
It was opening up a different opportunity. Heard it through a friend of mine, also in the Bass Club, through Scotty Cattenhoven. Let me know about it. Said, you know, you should come on and fish with us. And he says, you know, last year was I had a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun. I joined it this year. I made it to every tournament that they had for the actual club, and had a lot of fun this year.
You know, that's the key word right there. When you stop and doing something you enjoy to do with people you enjoy to be with, you know, and that's got to be awesome for you guys.
It's
You know,
fun.
Everybody's friendly.
Yeah.
Everybody's friendly.
yeah, you know, and then the old tale about the old fishing tales about, oh, you catch this little fish and it grows this long all of a sudden, you know. And I suppose that's prevalent in fish talk.
Everybody. There's a,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a little fish
Oh,
talk
yeah.
in everybody. No, here, you know, here at the end of the day, one of the cool things is whether you had a good day or a bad day, you still get to see fish. Just
Yeah,
about every
yeah.
time you go fishing, someone's bringing in some good catches.
Yeah.
Yeah, on your tournaments now, and knowing and seeing a lot of guys, you know, that have tried to get around the rules and putting weights and fish or stuff like that. You know, is that something you got to be concerned about, or does it happen?
I wouldn't think
Not
so.
for our guys. We all trust each other.
There's
Yeah.
in our club tournaments too. It's not like in the bigger opens. Even our annual open, which is on June 9th, there's a pretty nice purse to be caught there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some good money to be won. In our club tournaments, it's more and less just going out fishing. I mean, there's some weights that get, you know, you keep calculated to see who wins Mr. Bass at the end of the year. But other than that, there's real no benefit to doing the, you know, added weights or, you know, like the cheating you might hear of. I don't think that goes on around here. And I tell you one thing, I wouldn't want to get caught around here, because
Oh.
you wouldn't get invited to no bass clubs, you wouldn't
Yeah.
get invited to no opens, because
No.
it's Wisconsin, a lot of small communities, and word travels real fast. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't even try it.
You know, one of the things I like just so much about you guys, you know, the fishing clubs, and then dealing with the professor, Jeff Kuhn, of course, at Kuhn's Bait Shop. I always call him professor, the squire of the lake, you know, and I give him all kinds of build-up on it. But it just seemed to be that you guys always have a topic to discuss, you know, and it's the fishing, the weather out there, and where the fish are biting, and 1,001 things that us non-fishermen never realize are a part of knowing
What we
about.
go through.
There's a lot of early mornings, and I'll tell you what, if you want to know what the weather's like, just ask a guy that goes fishing, because he'll tell you what the weather's going to be like probably for the next 3 days, especially
And
if
it
it's coming
doesn't
to the-
matter if it says it's going to be one thing or another. Always take your rain gear with, because you never know when it's going to rain and you're stuck out there soaking wet, freezing cold.
I remember once already. I remember once already this year. I had to come
I
into
had
the
to be
boat
taken
landing,
back
get-
to the
get
landing
Pinkie
and get my rain gear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, that happens more often than not, even to the pros and to the
Oh.
experts, you know. So,
I don't get in the boat without my rain gear anymore.
well, I think, you know, I think a little suitcase. And you see these kids walking around with these backpacks nowadays, you know, and you wonder, well, why does he have to have a backpack, you know? But I suppose you're got your rain gear and your stuff with you too, just in case you need that stuff.
I pretty much take a luggage bag with me on the boat. It seems like.
No, that's got to be something special. Though you're out there early in the morning, you know, before even people are moving, and you're seeing the sunrise and everything like that, and that's got to be a magical moment.
is.
They always say
It is.
priceless.
Well,
And
one thing
It's
that's
really
nice about the club too is, you know, when you fish around your local area, you get so zeroed in to going to 1 or 2 lakes, and with the club, it'll get you out. It'll get you to different lakes that you'll never fish. In fact, out of the 8 our club opens, out of the 8 of them, I only fished 2 of the lakes out of the 8. And the one I only went to maybe 2 times, and the other one was right here locally in Shawano. I've fished Shawano most of my life. But the other ones I've never been to, so it allows you to get out. It gets you a little
And
bit
see
out
the
of your
different
comfort
scenery
zone.
and get the different lakes.
And you get to really experience a lot of new lakes. And the best thing is, though, is it's not like you're tackling these lakes by yourself. As you go on a new body of water, there are things to watch out for. But a lot of these guys that have been in the club for quite a few years, they can give you some information on where to go, where not to go, and it helps you go out there and tackle a lake that you're not so familiar with.
yeah, well, that's got to be like going to a new golf course or something,
It
you know.
is.
And having a guy that's never been a guy that's never golfed either, you know. But I mean, it's just got to be wonderful to find a new lake, you know.
It
And
is.
I recently started driving for the Menominee Transit, and I'm going all around Legend Lake, and never have been a guy who had been on a lake prior to 2 years ago. I went to a Lions Club, and we had a meeting out in the middle of Shawano Lake, and we were on Schumacher Island. And it was about 5:30. The sun was going down, maybe 6:30, 7:30, whatever it was. But I was like being in Hawaii again. It was so beautiful, you know. And then I was up at a meeting up in Warren Wilbur's house, and Elmer made me go out on Legend Lake. I had mentioned I had never been on a Legend Lake, you know. And I had those 2 experiences, and it was just fantastic, you know. And I could imagine what you got these guys, nice big boats, and do you fish off one of them pontoon boats? Is that
No,
possible
no,
too?
most of us are off of bass boats.
Bass boats.
Fiberglass to aluminum rigged bass boats. The ones with the big platforms on the front and the back with the trolling motors. Trolling motor is your friend out of a bass boat.
Yeah. And to me, I would think that a pontoon boat would be a good place to have it old fashioned.
It is. There's nothing wrong with an old fashioned out of a pontoon boat. I don't know about
Not
traveling is as much as we do through the club. I mean, we're anywhere from Tomahawk to Rhinelander, all the way down to Oshkosh to Portage. A lot of traveling. One thing with bass rigs, they travel real good. Anything from single to tandem axle trailers. I mean, they haul real nice. It's just the best rig for what we do. And commenting on like the different lakes and stuff like that. Shawano is a beautiful lake. It's I think 6,000 acres. Great lake. The thing is, when you get up the Calderon Falls and like High Falls, it's totally different. It's big rocks, not a lot of houses around. You get from one extreme to the next.
That's just it.
And
Each lake is different.
Each lake is different. You don't know what to
expect.
expect. And it doesn't even take a big lake to be a real interesting and neat lake to be on. But definitely get out on some different bodies of water.
Well, we would be sitting at the nuke plant and having worked in the nuke plant and sitting around watching them guys fishing out there, and some of them boats were moving 4 or 6 feet, in those ways around the nuke plant, and bad weather, of course,
We didn't experience much bad weather this year, other than a little bit of rain, cold on Wausau.
Lake
Wausau was a little rain. It got cold for Pinkie.
A little.
Yeah.
But I caught fish.
Well, the Lake Wausau.
Point.
Lake Wausau.
Is that right? How is that? That looks so beautiful. And
it is. It's a river system. They had a lot of different stuff. I mean, if you're used to just lakes, river systems offer you the chance to go fish the river or the lake. Even Shawano here has a river system, so you can fish the river or the lake. It's considered a river system. River systems are nice because you have a lot more opportunity. You can go fish, like I said, river, lake, smallmouth, largemouth. And like I said, we are a bass organized club, so we are mainly after just smallmouth, largemouth.
Yeah, and are there different fishing styles? Let's say you catch a...
Oh, yes.
You mean a bass would give you more fight than...
A smallmouth will give you probably your best fight.
Is that right?
Yes, a smallmouth is like a firecracker. The minute it gets on, it's no give up. Even when you get it in the boat, the smallmouth still wants to go nuts. But a largemouth puts up a real good fight. But your largemouth are a tendency of getting a little bit bigger than a smallmouth. You can still catch really nice smallmouth, but your largemouth are going to pull like your weight and stuff that you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I always see this fishing line with a pound sign on it. What does that mean? You can only a certain pound fish would catch on that?
No, it's just the lighter the poundage, the less it can take on the fight.
Okay.
If you got a big fish on there, it could snap.
It snaps the line.
And there's certain poundage. If you're running just a spinning reel, you want to stay with 10 pound or less, more likely. If you're going to go with a bait caster, which is very common in bass fishing, you're going to probably go with 10 pounds or bigger, all the way up to even some guys will tie in 50, 60 braid for fishing some of the more tougher conditions.
Now you guys got a fishing league. Now, how does that work? How do you keep score and something like that?
It goes by weight.
By weight.
We got 8 club opens. You just go to them. We do a $5 big bass on it, but other than that, it's just your entry fee.
Total weight is we'll pay it at the beginning of the year, and then
obviously everybody starts out at 0, and then every pound you count or catch and every ounce just goes towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And
our standings are posted on the website.
On the website, is that right? So that's how you keep score. That's got to be exciting.
I'm not last.
You're not last. Well, that's that's wonderful. You stop and think about girls fishing. But you girls are into everything nowadays. And you go to a Packer game, and most of the fans are girls.
I think I honestly have more polls than Stuart does now. I really do.
You're not going to be the only one this year. I heard there's a new girl coming out.
Becky, I believe.
And she's coming out of the Rhinelander area, right?
Out of the Hodags.
Oh.
Is joining our club. So
the
there'll be 2 of us now.
The Hodag club, it kind of fell through lack of members.
Yeah.
From when I took it, and some of them are jumping on with our crew. So we travel up in the Rhinelander area to go fishing with them, and then they come down and fish with us.
Boy, there's so many beautiful lakes in Wisconsin, you know, and
Yes,
you
yes.
guys are really getting to see firsthand, and that must be really nice. You go out early in the morning, you can have coffee and good
Like
to
a
eat
lot
out
of
there.
times we'll go the night before.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and then get a hotel room.
So make
spend
a
the night,
party out of it, huh?
Couple
go out to
overnighters.
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah. Oh, they do that.
relax.
No, so someone who enjoys that type of thing, and they want to contact you to become a member, the website, of course,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And unless they talk to you guys and say, and what type of, you guys have annual dues or
Yes.
initiation fee and stuff like that?
Dues are
First-
$100, and the first year it's $60
Yes.
to start, and
Yeah.
then after that it's $110 a year
Yeah, yeah. Well, 110
And
a year
that's
for the
an-
whole year.
for the whole year,
Yep.
and then it's an additional I think it's $40 now for the opens.
But then you win that back when you win the fishing league.
Come on.
You have to take first.
But
Okay.
the
Neither
dues
one
that-
of us
the
did
dues
that.
Yeah,
also
really,
goes
really.
towards, I believe, we're registered with FLW too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and all that. So that covers those dues and TBF, I believe.
Which, I mean, through the club, with the FLW, you can fish different outside the club too. It allows you got to catch one bass, smallmouth
Yeah.
or largemouth, and then it'll qualify you for zone and state. You obviously got to do good in zone to go to state, which then gets you a little bit more out there with fishing if you feel like going to that level.
Right, right.
But you don't have to. You can stay with inside the club.
Yeah. So there's limits of what you can really do if you want to.
If you want
but if
to.
you want to, you can do anything you want, and
Right.
just as
And
long
if
as
you
you're
don't
fishing.
feel like fishing that weekend,
Yeah.
you don't have to
You don't
fish,
have to.
but
That's something I think would be
it's
hard to
not like
pass up.
you're,
And
you're
I
made
think
to do it.
yeah.
It's-
Well, it's a good thing you get a guy gets his girlfriend or wife hooked on fishing. Then you don't have to worry about her. I'm gonna miss her, you know.
That's not going to relate to the song you.
No, that was so cool. I first time I saw that song, you know, and everybody likes Brad Paisley anyway, you know. When he comes up with something like this, I say, boy, I
He's a
tell
good
you,
Yes.
that must be more true than I think, you know. But that's like baseball wise too, you know. And some people just don't get enough of that. I always assume, but some people say they're filled up over the top of her head, and that's might be true with fishing too, you know.
I
But
know
the-
I'm always when he gets home, hey, can we get the boat? Let's go fishing. Let's go fishing.
Ooh.
Let's go fishing.
Well, you know that's almost like that's got to be the first great thing that man ever did in his life is figure out right away how to fish. And then the first guy that got hooked and knew more than anybody else was getting all the nice big fish. And then back in the old days, it must have been fish everywhere, you know. And you guys are stocking to help stock the lake now. Is that a program or it just?
I
I don't know
think
nothing
we're-
about any kind of
Yeah,
stocking.
yeah.
I don't. I'm not going to say yes or no on that one.
But Shawano Lake is just so fabulous with all the great fishing they got here, though. So
Oh yeah,
that's one
yeah.
thing.
Shawano's got a lot to offer
Oh.
for fishing.
Yeah, yeah, and I know, you know, having worked in the valley, I'd come and guys find out from Shawano. First thing you want to ask is how's the fishing, you know, and that's universal wherever you go down there. You know?
Shawano's a big tournament lake.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
A lot of nice opens are held on Shawano. A lot of nice bass fishing on Shawano. Great lake to just go boating on. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a nice sized lake, and it's right here in Shawano. So I mean, it's easy to take advantage of to go out there, even if you're anything from a boater to a muskie fisherman to just a pan fisherman to a bass fisherman. There's plenty of fish out there to be caught, and it's a really nice accessible lake to go to.
Well, you know, this past week when the good weather we had, and people were putting their boats out, all of a sudden they got their boats going back in. And that's got to be nice to be out there this time of the year with not so crowded and everything. And
Right.
when you get on a lake, do you open it up and just speed across that lake, or you just leisurely take your
Well,
time?
through the
and-
channel, you gotta be careful. There's some wakes and no wakes, but once you get out to the main lake, other than around the sandbars, yeah, you can go out there and
Get some good speed.
get some good speed going.
And then the river.
The river, yes, you
pretty
can
fast.
get you can get going up the
I
river.
got white
road.
knuckles.
Oh, is that right? You know, you can do that also, you know, but that river and that lake system, that's got to be just magical for our area here, you know, and all
Actually,
the good things.
Right now, the rivers, like we were just up the river last week, and me and a buddy of mine and his family went out, and we just took the boats for a boat ride, and it's beautiful up there right
Yeah,
now. All the
yeah.
leaves are changing, and up the river, you're a lot closer to the trees because it's a
Yeah.
little bit narrower.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we took it up to the red, and it's pretty nice up there right now.
Yeah, I know, driving around Legend Lake with all the colors changing and everything, and getting to see firsthand the leaves change from one day to the next. And man, what a beautiful scene, And I can't imagine what it's like to be on the lake and, like you say, be right into the trees. That's got to be fantastic. And as they always say, priceless, of course, But, it's one thing that you guys have all this fun, yet you give back to the community. And just amazing to me to have you guys out there doing something for youth and cancer. And in our country, boy, I tell you, there's nothing sadder. I was down to Sablaki to see the veterans this past week, and see all them guys walking around with missing limbs. And I've never been to a children's hospital, and I'm a member of the Lions, so I maybe I should make that a priority. But the fact of the matter is that that's got to break your heart to be at a children's hospital and doing what you guys do for the children. That's really something well done for the community, And that's something you do annually?
Yep.
Yep. This last August 13th, we did a kids fish day, and that's pretty much where they got to write
With the AMVETs, they had to write an essay on why fishing was better than drugs.
Yeah.
And
one got picked to be the best overall, and then we had fishing stations.
Yep, they go through a couple fishing stations. Each station is 10 minutes long. It just kind of helps the younger anglers to learn a little more about fishing. Everything from tying knots to ice fishing. They have prizes that we give out to the kids. Quite a few prizes, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was one little boy, I guess, that never went fishing before, and the minute he got that pole, went by his grandpa and has been out fishing since.
Is that right?
And, if you can get one or two kids, hooked on fishing,
well,
start somewhere.
with me and my Powerball, I get a Powerball every day. It's like putting that sinker in the water, and no fish would ever strike it. Is there a technique to moving your? How do you do that?
What lures and rigs you're using.
You touched base on it a little bit before, the different styles. There's a lot of different styles. There's fast or slow, anything from finesse to throwing hard baits. There's definitely different styles to it.
It's like me, just throw it in and pray.
Well, I remember back,
all pray.
prior to the ESPN era, and I'd get the sports report going to Green Bay, going to work. In the morning, they'd come on because everybody was fishing on the bay. They'd talk about shimmy wobblers and different things, And I just thought, this ain't a sport, And the reality is,
I have my favorites now.
Years later, I've come to find out how much you guys are really into it. It's very competitive, and like you say, the fishing league, and do you guys enter any big tournaments too? The Bass
through
Busters?
the year, a lot of people through the club will enter in.
Yeah, there's statewide open.
Yeah, opens
to get
all
into.
over. All over Wisconsin, there's opens, and a lot of the guys
like
in
ours.
the club. Yep.
Yeah.
Our Shawano Open it's open statewide, so.
And there's no limit to how many people can enter most of these opens, and you can go there and fish competitively against other really good anglers out of the state of Wisconsin.
And with the lake, you guys go on the big lake too? Is the Green Bay?
Our club already this year has fished. Out of the four-man was down in the Mississippi.
Is that right?
And state was out of the Mississippi this year. And then Mr. Bass was out of the Winneconne, Poygan system, Winnebago system.
And four-man they take third place?
Four-man took, I think, third place this year with our club.
And national?
That's statewide.
Statewide. Oh, boy, I tell you, that's pretty nice, And you stop and think about it. I know in John Steinbeck's book, Travels with Charlie, he said the greatest state in the Union is Wisconsin. And you think about all the water we got, and the lake, the Great Lakes there, and Lake Michigan right next to us, all the way up to the bay and everything. Then Lake Superior over the top, which I always get mad because they stole half of Wisconsin from us, And the fact of the matter is I'm still fighting that war. They say the Civil War is never going to be over. Well, I'm still mad because they stole the top of Wisconsin. But you think of all the Great Lakes that you guys are down through our system. And there's so many beautiful places. And we were down to King, and that's right on Rainbow Lake. And man, is that beautiful too. And I can't imagine being out early in the morning and having the sun come up, and the fish are biting. Is there a certain time that fish bite better, or?
Different times of the seasons. But
so you got to know that, huh?
I like mornings.
Yeah, you like mornings. Yeah, I can see that. Amy does
It
too.
depends upon the lake too, how they're biting.
And it depends on the weather. Right now, the morning bite might not be as good because the mornings are so cold.
Yeah.
They might
spring versus like fall now
yeah.
too. They're going to be sitting in different places.
Oh, is that right? And you can tell from just going out there that where the fish are moving, or are they moving, or
Not all the time. They're not always where you think they're going to be. But
yeah.
most of the time in the warmer weather, they're going to hang out more and less in the real deep water or the real shallow water. And then as the water gets cooler, they're going to move in and out. As the water warms up during the day, they'll probably move up. And then as it gets colder, it'll move down. I mean, everybody has their own opinions on that, you know, so I guess.
And that's the beauty of it right there.
You know, I could say that, and someone else could be like, no, they move down and then they move up. But they definitely move with the temperatures. And as the temperatures go through the seasons from spring to summer to fall, they move all over the place. So a spot that might be really good for you in the spring, more or less, isn't going to be good for you in the summertime. And that's fishing, though. That's what makes it fun.
Fishing,
that's like when she said she prays just for a bite at the end of the line. I said, I think we all do. One thing that is when you're out there, it's that first bite I always think is the most, not so much important, just the most fun, because
It gets you excited.
Yeah, you haven't had nothing, and it could be early in the morning or even after a couple hours. You wait, and all of a sudden you get that first bite, that first little tunk on the line, and you set the hook. And then after that, it's just like, it's like almost a sigh of relief to a point, because you're like, I found them. I kind of know where they are now.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're just searching. You're going around looking.
So
Well,
I
you know,
think fishing is like 10% skill, and the rest of it's 90% patience and luck.
Yeah, so I like that equation, because I never had the patience or I never had the luck, you know. But the fact is, what about this ice fishing now? Do you guys ice fish too, or is that?
I mean, our club still does stuff during the winter time, but we kind of, with the fishing, it shuts down.
Really.
Yeah,
We just have meetings.
Well, I always think that the ice fishermen are out there for the bottle bass to begin with. You know, I don't know.
Right.
What else is there to do in Wisconsin? No,
yeah.
in the winter time.
Yeah, once the Packers are done, you know.
Once the Packers are done and the hunting season's over, and
Yeah,
the ice is froze over good and solid, there ain't much else to do other than go ice fishing and maybe have a few bottle bass.
Yeah, you know, one of the things about this thing, though, is talking about all this fun. Now, we want to mention again how people can get in contact with you. The website, or if they know you guys individually, or Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. And then just click on and get notified where the meetings are. Do you guys have meetings and everything, or is it?
Yes, they're first Monday of every month. They're usually during the summer, they're at Sunset Island.
Yeah.
But right now, over the fall and winter months, we have it at one of our Jimmy Cat and Hoban's house.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be a great time to get together and talk about fishing and everything, and getting things organized and getting back to the things you support. You know, it's just amazing to me that you guys can do this and have the heart of the community, because our community here, you know, and Shannon, you're from Clintonville.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say City of the Coaching Legends, because, you know, we loved competing against those guys. And Dick Keppins, one of my great friends, you know, and I'm proud of him. And he got me a rock on the Veterans Center in the middle of a brick in the middle of Clintonville, you know. And so my name's right there, and I'm proudest of that, you know. And I almost feel as good as winning the Granny, you know, having that and plenty of the City of the Coaching Legends. And Amy, you're here from Shawano. Shawano, and you got members from Bondwell?
A couple, one,
Cecil.
two.
I'd say
Couple
Cecil, Shawano. Most of it's from the Clintonville, Shawano, Cecil area.
Well, that's a good cross section. You know, the fact is that you guys all come together, and how many members?
16.
16 members. Boy, I tell you, that's got to be the perfect size. You know, you can all get together and everybody knows everybody, and so these contests then are really just a skill challenge.
We don't just have the tournaments. We have the fun nights too.
There's fun nights.
Fun days right now.
What is it, every
mornings.
Tuesday?
Every
the summer?
Tuesday during the summer, and then right now it's every Sunday morning.
As the days get shorter, we move it to Sunday, because it's just tough.
Till we can't get on the water no more.
On those fun days, you have just fishing, go out?
It's just,
$10.
like $10. It's $5, you know, for biggest bass, $5 for biggest bag. It's real low budget, but you can still get out and go fishing with a group of guys, I mean, within our club.
Yeah.
And in our opens, we do allow anybody to join, like the $10 opens. That doesn't involve where it's just club members. I mean, if we feel like bringing a friend that's interested
that's
along,
a good way
or a
for
family
people
member,
if they want to, you know, understand what we're doing, you know, how we fish and stuff. Ask one of us to come with. You can come out and fish with us.
You don't need a boat in the club.
Yeah.
You can go as non-boaters. You just draw random out of a hat to what person you're fishing with, and then you got to get with that person and talk to them, and then you go boating with
Oh,
them.
boy.
And that. So you don't have to have a boat to go in either the small opens or to be in the club.
Boy, that's a great thing, because you get to know people, and I suppose
Well, it
being
allows all ages to join that.
yeah,
Well, it gives you
yeah.
an opportunity to fish with other people and see how they fish too,
Yep.
and learn things. Because I've learned a lot from fishing with Jimmy and Scott and all that versus just going out with Stuart.
And as you say, everybody's got a different style,
Everybody does.
different technique, and it's. I know one of my buddies is an avid fisherman, and they call him a professor because he seems to know everything about everything, And it's a vast amount of knowledge to this sport, and then really knowing that the goodness of it and passing along. And nowadays, everything you catch is it? Can you eat everything you catch?
We catch and release.
Our club likes to preach catch and release.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything we do catch, from our opens to just our fun nights, it's all catch and release.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
I mean, we want to be able to go back out and hopefully the very next week catch the same fish that we just got done catching. It's more of a passion for us to go out and go fishing.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I tell you, it's been wonderful. It's been by way too fast. We're going to talk forever. But, folks, Redneck Bass Busters, Shannon Norden and Amy Pinkie Peterson from Shawano Redneck Bass Busters here as guests. We thank them, and we'll be back next week to tell you more about this. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.